Sloan Miller Venmo'd me $4,000 with a memo, allowance for the month. I immediately turned around and bought my kid a massive Lego Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series set. With the leftover cash, I took my son to the most exclusive reflexologist spa in downtown Chicago. Just as the technician was hitting a pressure point on my foot that had me yelping in pain, Sloan's FaceTime call came through. My son, clinging to the technician's leg, looked into the camera with wide, innocent eyes and shouted, "Mommy, the lady here says Daddy is so hard." Click. Before the kid could finish saying, "To work on," the call disconnected. A second later, a text notification popped up. "Your credit card has been frozen." I looked at the remaining balance for the spa treatment and sighed. It looked like my career as a trophy husband was hitting a major snag. "Sir, your total comes to $288, the receptionist said, her smile professional yet icy. I pulled out my phone and pulled up the QR code. "Declined. Your account has been restricted," a cold, robotic female voice echoed through the quiet lobby. I tried another card. "Declined." Another one. "Declined." Sloan was being ruthless. The receptionist's smile was officially gone. The other patrons were staring at me like I was a car wreck. "Daddy, are you broke?" My 5-year-old, Ollie, asked in a voice loud enough to reach the back of the building. I cleared my throat, preparing to sacrifice my last shred of dignity, the emergency cash I kept hidden in my shoe. Just as I started to lift my foot, Ollie plugged his nose and yelled, "Are you going to use your stinky foot money? That cash smells worse than your gym socks." The room went dead silent. I felt like my skin was being peeled off and stomped on in public. Eventually, I scraped together the last $300 in my Venmo balance to cover the bill, after a very awkward loyal customer discount. I, Leo Miller, a full-time stay-at-home dad supported by my CEO wife, was tasting poverty for the first time. Ollie and I sat on the curb outside the glitzy spa like two strays kicked out of the house. The evening breeze was starting to bite. Ollie was sucking on a lollipop the receptionist had given him out of pity. Between licks, he pointed at the women walking by. "Daddy, that lady's legs aren't as long as the one who was rubbing your feet." I was exhausted. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Sloan. "Don't come home for 3 days. Take some time to think about what you did wrong." What did I do wrong? Marrying a girl boss who knows how to make billions but doesn't know how to live. A spark of defiance flared in my chest. "Fine, I won't come back." I typed back, "Come on, Ollie. Daddy's taking you on an adventure. We're going off the grid." Ollie jumped up ecstatic. "Yay, an adventure. Will there be more ladies with long legs?" I looked at his innocent face and felt a surge of pride. "Plenty, kid. All you can see. Our first stop, Water Tower Place, the high-end mall. Daddy, are we buying more Legos?" "No, son. We're performing a survival exercise." I led him straight to the gourmet tasting section of a high-end grocery store. Juicy Wagyu sliders were sizzling on a flat-top grill. Ollie charged forward on his short legs, looking up with his handsome little face. "Miss, my daddy said that only the prettiest girl in the world could make a slider smell this good." The brand ambassador beamed, handing him a generous portion. Ollie ate it, face covered in grease. "Miss, can I have another?" My daddy said he's too shy to ask for himself. Half an hour later, the two of us were so stuffed we could barely move. Just as I was about to lead a raid on the dessert samples, an oily voice spoke up. "Well, if it isn't Leo Miller. What's the matter? Did Sloan cut your allowance? You're reduced to begging for samples now." It was Chadwick Sterling, Sloan's #1 persistent suitor, a trust fund kid whose only personality trait was his bank account. He was wearing a loud pink suit, his hair slicked back with enough gel to lubricate a semi-truck. Before I could say a word, Ollie pointed at him and shouted to the surrounding crowd, "Ladies, look, that man's hairpiece is crooked." The entire section erupted in laughter. Chad's face turned the color of a raw steak as he instinctively reached for the top of his head. Sure enough, a patch of dark hair was wobbling precariously on his oily scalp. He scrambled through the crowd and fled amidst the mockery. I gave my son a thumbs up. "Nice work, kid." With our bellies full, we needed a place to stay. A hotel was out of the question. I had a brainwave and ducked into a 24-hour gaming lounge. "Daddy, are we sleeping here?" "Yep." Ollie looked disgusted. "There's no Tempur-Pedic." "Son, a gaming lounge sofa is a man's leather Tempur-Pedic." To raise some travel funds and document our exile, I used the last of my battery to start a live stream. My handle, the broke trophy dad. I pointed the camera at my ridiculously handsome face. To my surprise, a few night owls actually tuned in. The lounge was hazy with the smell of energy drinks, and the sound of mechanical keyboards filled the air. I pushed 2 worn leather chairs together and draped my jacket over Ollie. Go to sleep, son. This is our fortress. Ollie rolled his eyes, but closed them anyway. I logged into a gaming account I hadn't touched in ages. The scent of freedom was intoxicating. The chat started scrolling. Is this guy for real? Taking a kid to a PC cafe overnight. With those looks, why is he streaming? Go to Hollywood, man. I ignored them and locked into the game. After a while, Ollie couldn't sleep and started wandering around. He stopped next to a pretty girl with pink hair who was playing a match. She was playing like a beast, but her score was 0-5. Ollie put his hands behind his back and sighed like an old man. Miss, you're really bad at this. The girl froze and turned around. Ollie immediately flashed a smile that could melt a glacier. But I'm willing to teach you because you're pretty. I nearly spat out my water. The kid was a natural. Instead of getting mad, the girl giggled, bought him a pile of snacks and a soda, and let him sit with her. An hour later, Ollie was the mascot of the lounge. He was surrounded by girls. One was feeding him chips, another was wiping his mouth, and another was letting him help her play. My livestream blew up. The viewer count surged from double digits to several thousand. Holy crap, is this kid a reincarnated Casanova? 5 years old, and he's already got more game than me. Who raised this kid? The dad is a legend. The kid is a pro. Best stream ever. Meanwhile, in a luxury penthouse on the north side, Sloan Miller couldn't sleep. The empty house was making her irritable. She'd thrown 2 pillows across the room and still felt restless. She expected Leo to call and beg for forgiveness. Instead, she checked Instagram and saw he posted a selfie from a gaming lounge with the caption, "The scent of freedom." Sloan nearly snapped her phone in half. She felt a strange compulsion to check local live streams to see what he was actually doing. That's when she saw a sight she'd never forget. Her biological son was sitting comfortably in the lap of a girl in a schoolgirl cosplay outfit, happily eating Pringles. Her husband was in the background, yelling at the screen, "Hey, you in the skirt. Save a sip of that Coke for me." The girl pinched Ollie's cheek. "Ollie, where's your mommy?" Ollie sighed, looking tragic. Mommy turned into a fire-breathing dragon and kicked Daddy and me out. She said Daddy's a loser and doesn't deserve to come home. Sloan felt her blood pressure skyrocketing. Her chest heaved as she started typing a furious comment. But in her rage, her finger slipped and she accidentally hit the gift button. A mega yacht animation, worth about $500, flooded the entire screen. The chat went wild. I was in the middle of a kill streak when the animation blinded me. I looked at the ID, Sloan Hater number 1. I laughed. Shout out to Sloan Hater number 1 for the mega yacht. You're a legend. Stay healthy, get rich. Ollie popped his head up and waved at the camera. Thanks, Annie Hater. You're so nice. In her penthouse, Sloan watched their beaming faces and slammed her phone onto the rug. Back at the lounge, some guy challenged me to a 1v1 match with a $100 stake. Needing the cash, I accepted. 10 minutes later, using only one hand, I demolished him until he deleted his account. The lounge cheered, and the pink-haired girl was looking at me with hard eyes. I was feeling pretty good until the manager walked over. "Sir, I need to see your ID." He pointed at Ollie. "No minors allowed after 2 a.m. You need to leave." At 3 a.m., Ollie and I were back on the street, shivering. "Daddy, I'm cold," Ollie said, his voice trembling. I wrapped my only jacket around him and looked at the $100 I'd won. I made a call. "Come on, son. Daddy's taking you to a man's paradise." I led him across the street to a 24-hour luxury spa and sauna resort. The prize money bought us 2 overnight passes. The hot water washed away the exhaustion. We soaked in a massive whirlpool tub, sighing in relief. "Daddy, this is way better than the PC cafe." "You bet. This is the life." I splurged on a professional body scrub. The burly technician looked at my smooth back and whistled. "Man, you've got great skin. You must take care of yourself." Before I could be humble, Ollie leaned over the edge of the tub. "It's my mommy's face masks. Daddy steals them every night." The technician's hand froze. The entire men's bathing area erupted in muffled laughter. My dignity was officially dead. The next morning at 7 a.m., Sloan woke up. The bed beside her was cold. She frowned, went to brush her teeth, and found the toothpaste was empty. She tried to make coffee, but the new machine she bought exploded, spraying white grounds all over the kitchen. She tried to boil an egg and nearly burned the pot through. Finally, she sat there eating 2 pieces of charred toast and drinking tap water. She checked her feed. There was a post from Leo at 9 a.m., a 9-photo grid of an exquisite buffet breakfast. In the center was Ollie, his cheeks stuffed with dim sum, smiling like a hamster. Location: Grand Bay International Spa Resort. Sloan crushed her black toast into dust. The doorbell rang. Chad Sterling was there with a massive bouquet of roses and a breakfast bag from a 5-star restaurant. Sloan, I figured you wouldn't eat right without me. I brought you a gourmet breakfast. Sloan looked at his greasy face and his crooked hairpiece. She suddenly missed Leo's homemade congee. It didn't look like much, but it always tasted exactly right. Get out, Sloan said and slammed the door. At the spa resort, they were hosting a weekend father-son talent show. The prize was a limited edition transformer. Ollie's eyes lit up. Daddy, we have to enter. Son, we don't have any talents. Edo. When it was Ollie's turn on stage, the room went quiet. People expected a song or a dance. Instead, Ollie put his hands on his hips, adjusted an imaginary pair of glasses, and lowered his voice into a cold, sharp tone. Leo Miller, that little stash of cash you've got hidden isn't even enough to buy the charms on my handbag. I've given you enough face, haven't I? It was a perfect, chilling impression of Sloan. The room froze for 3 seconds, then exploded into deafening laughter. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. A video of the miracle impressionist was uploaded to TikTok immediately. Sloan's best friend sent it to her within minutes. Sloan, look, your son is viral. Ha ha ha. Sloan watched the video of her son mocking her haughty attitude. She started to laugh out of anger, but then a strange ache settled in her chest. How long had it been since she'd really looked at Leo and Ollie? For 3 years, she treated them like household appliances. As she was lost in thought, a new development occurred at the spa. The owner, a middle-aged man with a beer belly, ran over and grabbed my hand. Master, is it you? Ronin 777 foot from the pro circuit back in the day. I blinked. I remembered it was a boosting job I'd taken years ago for extra cash. That's me. Oh my God, I finally found you. Comped. Everything is comped. The owner waved his hand, not only refunding our stay, but giving us a lifetime VIP gold card. I was back on top. My phone buzzed. Sloan again. The toilet is clogged. It was a test. I lay back on my massage chair, surrounded by free fruit platters and iced coffee. I took my time replying, call the super. I'm in the sauna. Do not disturb. I immediately switched to airplane mode. Ollie and I lived like kings at the spa for 3 days. On the 3rd day, a man approached us. Excuse me, sir. I'm a producer for the reality show Super Dads. We're filming nearby, and a family dropped out at the last minute. You and your son have an amazing look. Interested in filling in? I wanted to say no. Parenting was hard enough without cameras. But then he added, it pays $5,000 a day, plus room and board. Deal, I said instantly. And so, Ollie and I, wearing cheap t-shirts and flip-flops from the spa gift shop, crashed the set of a hit parenting show. Filming began. The other dads were trying so hard to be hero dads, feeding their kids and playing educational games with gentle smiles. I just found a shady spot under a tree, sprawled out on the grass, and kicked my feet up. Ollie, come here and peel a grape for Daddy. Ollie scurried over, expertly peeled a grape, and popped it into my mouth. Is it sweet, Daddy? Sweetest thing ever, son. The comments section exploded. Is this guy a dad or a sultan? The king of lazy parenting. Next was the cooking challenge. The other dads were panicking, cutting their fingers, or burning the stir-fry. I calmly directed Ollie. Son, go over to Mr. Thompson's station and see what they're making. Then go to Mrs. Miller's group and ask if they need help. It's called social networking, okay? Ollie nodded and took off. A few minutes later, he returned with a bowl of braised short ribs. Daddy, Mr. Thompson said they had too much and wanted us to have some. A few minutes after that, he had a plate of steamed sea bass. Daddy, Mrs. Miller said I was cute and gave me a prize. We didn't even turn on our stove, yet we had the best lunch on set. There was a famous young starlet on the show, Ava Moore. Ollie ran up to her with a bottle of water. Miss Ava, have some water. My daddy said you're the prettiest star here, but he's too shy to talk to you because he's afraid of my mommy's temper. Ava laughed until she cried. I, of course, had never said that. By that evening, hashtag laziest dad ever and hashtag 5-year-old socialite were trending on Twitter. At Miller Global HQ, the boardroom felt like a walk-in freezer. Sloan was listening to the quarterly reports, her face like ice. An executive was struggling to connect his laptop to the projector. Somehow, the Bluetooth picked up Sloan's private phone on the table. A second later, the massive screen displayed the Super Dad's livestream. There I was in my flip-flops, leaning close to Ava Moore, teaching her how to play a mobile game. Right here, use your ultimate, then dash. Clean them up. Ollie was acting like a little butler, bringing them snacks and massaging Ava's shoulders. You're doing great, Miss Ava. The boardroom fell into a deathly silence. Dozens of high-level executives stared at the screen, then at the woman in the head chair, whose face was turning from white to red to purple. Sloan took a deep breath. Turn it off, she said to her petrified secretary. Then she looked at the executives. This is exactly why I kicked him out. He's an embarrassment. But then, the chat on screen started filling with hate comments planted by Chad Sterling's people. Gold digger. Abandoning his wife for a starlet. Trash dad. Get him off the air. Sloan felt a twinge of something else. That's my husband. Only I get to call him trash. The comments got uglier. Even Ava's fans started attacking us. I just leaned back and started reading the hate comments out loud on air. Someone says I'm a gold digger. My friend, you clearly haven't tried it. It takes a lot of talent to live this well. My doctor actually recommended a soft diet because my jaw is sensitive. As for abandoning my wife is gorgeous. Do I look stupid? The mood in the stream flipped. People started finding me hilarious. Then came the talent portion of the show. Ava sang a song. The other dads did magic tricks or told jokes. When it was my turn, I walked slowly to the piano provided by the crew. Everyone expected me to bang on the keys like a toddler. Instead, I sat down and my fingers danced. A soaring, complex rendition of Croatian Rhapsody filled the air. The music shifted from frantic to haunting, a beautiful weave of chaos and peace. The set went silent. The chat was nothing but exclamation points. Holy, is this guy a concert pianist? He's hot, he's funny, and he plays like a god? Where do I find one? When I finished, I stood up and winked at the camera. Just something I practiced so I can teach my son how to pick up girls later. No big deal. In her penthouse, Sloan stared at the screen, mesmerized. She realized she'd never actually known Leo. She couldn't sit still. She immediately unfroze my cards and sent me $50,000. Her message was a typical command. Take our son and come home. Stop embarrassing yourself. Ping. I saw the notification. $50K. Then, in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers, I hit return to sender. I sent a voice note back, making sure the background noise of the set was audible. Thanks for the offer, CEO Miller. But I just got a reality show gig. I'm doing okay for cash. Besides, the ladies here are talented and nice. I like it here. Ollie leaned into the phone and added, Mommy. Daddy says he's never coming back. Miss Ava is buying a strawberry Häagen-Dazs. Sloan gripped her phone. For the first time in 3 years, she felt a massive sense of crisis. She always thought Leo couldn't survive without her. Now she realized he was thriving, and other women, younger, sweeter women, were circling him. Chad Sterling was whispering in her ear, See? I told you. Give a man like that money, and he turns bad. He doesn't deserve you. Sloan turned, her eyes like daggers. Shut up. Nobody talks about my husband like that. That night was the heart-to-heart segment. The lighting was soft. Ollie sat on my lap. Daddy, why aren't we going home? I miss my Legos. I looked at the moon, silent for a moment. Then I ruffled his hair. Because, son, I want Mommy to know that Daddy is important too. I'm not a toy she can just throw away when she's bored. My voice was soft, but the mic caught it clearly. Sloan heard it. She saw the loneliness in my profile and the confusion in Ollie's eyes, and her own eyes welled up. She had treated him like a servant. She had taken his care for granted and given nothing back. Just as she was about to go get him, the producer, sensing a ratings goldmine, announced the next segment. And now, for our 24-hour couple challenge, the fans have voted. Leo Miller and Ava Moore are our top-rated pair. Congratulations. Sloan's face went dark. Cancel my meetings. Book me the first flight to the resort. Sloan hung up and went to the back of her closet, pulling out a dusty tube of lipstick. It was a classic man-killer red I'd bought her years ago. She applied it awkwardly in the mirror. She still looked like a fierce CEO, but the red added a touch of humanity. War has begun, she whispered. Chad Sterling, hearing the news, blocked her driveway with his lavender Lamborghini. Sloan, you going to the resort? Let me drive you. I have business there anyway. Sloan wanted to tell him to rot, but then she had a thought. Phoenix, let Leo see that she wasn't exactly lonely either. For hours later, the Lumbo pulled up to the resort. Sloan stepped out in 4-inch stilettos, radiating power. She walked into the garden and saw a sight that made her blood boil. Under a gazebo, I was sitting on a stone bench while Ava Moore knelt before me, carefully putting a Band-Aid on my finger. Oh, Leo, you're so clumsy. How do you cut yourself just slicing fruit? Her voice was pure honey. I laughed it off. It's nothing. They were close. The air around Sloan dropped 20 degrees. The cameraman actually shivered. Ollie saw her first. He didn't run to her. He hid behind Ava. Protect me, pretty lady. The dragon is here. Sloan took a deep breath and walked up to me. She took off her sunglasses. Are you done playing, Mr. Miller? I looked up, faking surprise. Oh, wow. Who's this beautiful lady? Sorry, if you want an autograph, you'll have to wait in line. Sloan almost laughed in fury. Before she could speak, Chad caught up, pointing a finger at me. Leo, Sloan came all this way to get you. Stop being a brat and get in the car. I smiled at him. Hey, look, it's the guy with the crooked hairpiece. Ollie popped out from behind Ava. Mister, is your hair glued on tight today? Don't let the wind take it. Chad turned the color of an eggplant. The producer's eyes lit up. Ratings were going to break records. He ran over. CEO Miller. Mr. Sterling, since you're here, why don't you join us as special guest for the next game? The next game was a mud battle. The teams were set. Me, Sloan, and Ollie. Chad, meanwhile, was accidentally assigned to a team with a group of aggressive farm geese. The game began. We were fighting for flags in a mud pit. I acted clumsy, slipping constantly and accidentally flinging handfuls of mud directly into Chad's mouth. Within minutes, Chad was covered in filth, looking like a terracotta soldier pulled from a swamp. Sloan, however, was perfectly clean because I stayed between her and the mess. She watched Chad's humiliation and then looked at my muddy back shielding her. For the first time, her icy expression thawed, and a small smile touched her lips. In the sunlight, she was 100 times prettier than Ava. My heart skipped a beat. Maybe this runaway plan was working. I'll start the fire, Sloan volunteered later, trying to reclaim some dignity as a wife on camera. She nearly burned her eyebrows off. Smoke billowed everywhere, making her eyes water. Ollie sat nearby, chin in his hand. Mommy, just go sit down. Don't make more work for Daddy. Sloan's face flushed. The chat was ruthless. Ha ha, is this the boss mom vibe? The CEO can't even start a campfire. Her kid is more capable. I feel for Leo. He has to raise a kid and a giant baby wife. I walked over, subtly blocking the camera's view of her struggle. I took the flint and wood from her and had a fire going in seconds. I used a wet wipe to clean the soot off her face, grumbling, "You're so clumsy. Let me handle this from now on." It was a simple gesture, but Sloan froze. She looked at my profile in the firelight and felt a sudden sense of safety she hadn't felt in years. That night, the show only provided 2 tents. Ollie insisted on sleeping with Ava, but she gently declined. So, the 3 of us were crammed into one small tent. The space was tight. Sloan lay next to me, her body stiff. My arm brushed hers, and she tensed up. I leaned in and whispered, "Careful, Sio. You're touching my wound. The fruit-cutting one." She panicked, moving away. "I'm sorry." The wound had actually healed hours ago. As Ollie fell asleep, the tent was quiet. Sloan whispered, "That $4,000. What did you actually spend it on?" I pulled out my phone and showed her an Amazon order. A high-end, 5-figure medical-grade neck massager. Delivery address. Our home. I knew her neck had been hurting from work, but I just shrugged. What else? I took our son to the spa. The ladies there are great. Sloan went silent. Just as the mood got tender, a blood-curdling scream erupted from outside. It was Chad. Then came the triumphant honk 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 of the geese. Apparently, his battle with the village bullies had ended in a total defeat. The next day, Chad showed up with 2 black eyes, limping. He wasn't giving up. He turned his attention to Ollie. He pulled a black Amex card from his wallet and flashed a smug smile. "Ollie, call me Daddy just once, and you can buy whatever you want with this card." Ollie blinked, took the card, and asked sweetly, "What's the pin, mister? I want to buy 1,000 Legos and a whole theme park." Chad smirked at Sloan, thinking he'd won. I walked over and patted Ollie's head. "Son, if Mr. Sterling is being this generous, we should do something nice with his money." I took Ollie and the card straight to the village mayor. Ollie handed the card over and shouted, "Mayor, this man wants to donate all his money to pave the roads for the village." The mayor was so moved, he wouldn't let go of Chad's hand. The whole village showed up with drums and gongs to thank the great philanthropist. Chad was trapped. To save his generous image in front of Sloan, he had to authorize a donation of several $100,000. The card was maxed out. As a thank you, the mayor insisted Chad experience authentic farm life. An hour later, Chad, in his Armani suit, was carrying buckets of manure to the vegetable patches. Sloan leaned against me, laughing so hard she couldn't breathe. I handed her some water. "Feel better?" "Much," she said, looking up at me. That afternoon, filming was on break. I took Sloan to the creek behind the village to catch fish. She took off her heels and waded into the cold water like a kid. She slipped, letting out a cry, and I caught her. We stood there, heart to heart, water rushing around us. I leaned down, and just as I was about to kiss her, Ollie's head popped out of the tall grass. "Is Mommy heavy, Daddy? Your arms are shaking." The mood was dead. Suddenly, a production car pulled up. A sophisticated woman in a business suit stepped out. "This is our lead sponsor, Ms. Stone," the producer introduced. The woman saw me and froze, then smiled. Leo Miller? Long time no see. Sloane's smile vanished. Because Ms. Stone, Harper Stone, was the legendary ex-girlfriend she'd always been jealous of. Still a bedwetter, Leo? Harper teased. My face went red. That was a preschool secret she never let go of. Sloane's face went black. She turned and marched away, her heels clicking angrily on the gravel. Sloane, wait. I chased after her. She was my preschool desk mate. We fought over lollipops. We're enemies. Preschool desk mates don't sponsor their exes' reality shows, Leo. Try harder. She didn't believe a word. Then disaster struck. An overhead filming drone malfunctioned and came screaming down out of the sky, straight for Sloane's head. Look out. I didn't think. I lunged, throwing my body over hers. Crash. The drone slammed into my back. The blade sliced a deep gash into my arm. Blood soaked my shirt instantly. Now, Sloane screamed. She saw the wound and started sobbing. You idiot. Why did you jump? I tried to say something cool, but the blood loss hit me, and everything went black. The accident halted everything. Harper Stone was panicked. She called her boss, the chairman of the global conglomerate that owned her company. Chairman, it's an emergency. Your son was injured on set. Yes, Leo. The set went silent. So? I woke up in a VIP hospital suite. Sloane was there, eyes red. You? I reached out with my good hand and touched her cheek. Okay, Fina. I'm coming clean. I'm the rebellious youngest son of the Miller Group who ran away because I didn't want to inherit a billion-dollar company. I just wanted to be a dad. Sloane's mind went blank. So, you weren't a gold digger? You were just playing house. I laughed. No, I love being a trophy husband. It's my passion. Being taken care of by a beautiful CEO like you is my greatest achievement. Sloane started crying again, but this time